Alright, so problem 7, we're looking at the sugar content of children's cereals versus adult cereals. Alright, so we got to do a 95% confidence interval for the difference. So what you would do is you would put each of those into L1 and L2. Alright, and then what we need is we need the statistics. So if we calc for L1, that's for the children's cereal, so the mean is 46.8, the standard deviation is 6.41838, and N is 19. And then if we're going to stack calc for L2, and that's for the adult cereals, so that's 10.15357. Okay, and then N is 28. Okay, so and standard deviation 7.16239. All right, so that's your statistics. So I just copied those down. Okay, so let's go through it. Mu of C is the average. Let me just expand this out a little bit. So that's going to be average sugar content of children's cereals. And then U of A is the average sugar content of adult cereals. Okay, assumptions and conditions. These samples are we're going to assume are representative. Okay, both 18 and 28 are less than 10% of all children and adult cereals. Okay, the samples are independent. Okay. Now we got to look at the histogram. So let's go to plot 1. We'll go to histogram, L1, and we're going to go to zoom. Stat. Okay. We turn it on. We got to turn it on. Alright, now we go to zoom, stat. Okay, so we're going to copy that down on our paper, and that's so we'll copy that guy down. So that is okay. So we're going to say, yeah, it's skewed, but we're going to say that's roughly unimodal and symmetric. And then let's do the same thing for the adult cereals. So all we're going to do is we're going to change our plot to L2, and we're going to go to zoom and zoom 9. Okay, so let's see what this looks like. Where do we start at? We're going to start at 0. Let's go up to 40, and let's see what happens if we go up by 5. So that didn't work. So let's go up to let's go up by actually, let's see. Yeah, that's kind of skewed, right? So guess what? We're going to copy that down. Okay, and we're going to note this outlier, and that one outlier is 30.2, right? So that one is probably an outlier, so we're going to note an outlier at 30.2, and this is going to be, this looks like it's definitely skewed, so we're going to proceed with caution. Okay. name. Okay, so we got all of our statistics. They're all right here. We got those all down. This is a 2 sample T interval. And again, those are all of our players. We'd copy those all down. The interval itself. So we're going to do, I always do the larger one minus the smaller one. So I'm going to do the children's serial first, minus the adult serial, plus or minus. Now T, I got to figure out how many degrees of freedom there are, so I will get to that. Okay, and then I'm going to do 6.41838 squared over 18 plus 7.61239 squared over 28. So now everything's in the calculator, right? So we're going to do stat. We're going to go to test. We're going to go to 2SAMTN, and we're going to use data. And we're going to do L1, L2, and we're going to do 95%, and we're going to calculate. All right, so our degrees of freedom is 42.8. So that's a T with 42.8 degrees of freedom. We'll get that T value in a second. And our interval is from 32.5 to 40.8. So how do we get the T interval? Well, it's a 95% confidence interval. So if you shade the middle 95%, that means there's 2.5% in each tail. So that means it starts at the 0.025 percentile and ends at the 97.5 percentile. So I'm going to go into inverse T, 0.975 and 42.8 degrees of freedom. So my T value here is 2.017. So I'm just going to put that down. Equals T. Okay. And then we got to write our conclusion. So we are 95% confident that the average, or the mean, that the average sugar content in children's cereals is between 32.5 and 40.8 percent higher than the mean content in adult cereals. All right, so that's our interpretation.